So this is a very exciting day because we have an incredible partnership happening between two amazing, I have to say, organisations, right? We've got the Rio Ferdinand Foundation.
Small organisation.
I mean, it's very big-hearted and it's huge. So if you want to call it small, that's okay. But it's massive. It's also very, very important. And I think that being able to bring you both together so that we can understand why this is even happening is key. So Melvin, Ben, so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Can you please introduce yourself and what you do?
Melvin Ben, Managing Director of Festival Republic. Festival Republic is 51% owned by Live Nation, so we put on live music events, big festivals in particular, and Live Nation big festivals and concerts, and I guess we're a fairly key part of the live music industry.
Why have you guys decided to join forces? Because essentially you do very different things. You're in a very different industry to what your whole background has been in. Mm-hmm. Where does the unity come in on the both of you deciding to make this happen?
I think from my point of view, I don't think we do massively different things, actually. In terms of what Rio did in the past is, play football in front of thousands of people every week, and we try and put artists in front of thousands of people every week in that sense of it. And so arguably football is, it's more than just entertainment, but it is entertainment. It's part and parcel of that world. And, Rio is a national figure. It's put its head above the parapet with the foundation. That carries weight for us in that sense of it. And we've been doing interns for a very long time. And it works really well for us. And a lot of the interns that we work with continue to work for us when their internships are finished. And it felt like with Rio having the foundation and having an interest in developing interns for, people of, poor or deprived backgrounds from, whatever environment they've come from in that sense of it, that it's carrying a weight that we haven't had necessarily before in that sense. It's bringing a care potentially to the interns that we both work with. And I think it gives us an opportunity to have a greater reach of potential interns because Rio's name is so well known. And I think it then brings a responsibility on the foundation to make sure that we're doing well, we're doing the right thing by the interns that we've effectively collaborating with and working with together. So it seems a really good partnership for us in that sense.
Yeah, I think that it completely makes sense when you say it, because actually, if you think about it, it feels like you're from different worlds, but the purpose in what you do brings you together to create something quite magical. With Live Nation and Festival Republic, what do you do as a company so that there's context?
Well, essentially, we're music promoters. We put festivals on, Festival Republic in particular. That's what I do, most of my life is create festivals and put them on. And Live Nation does similar in that sense of it. They're my parent company in that sense. And they also do a lot more concerts, present concerts every night of the week in different venues up and down the country. And I suppose in simple terms, we're the conduit between the artist and the fan. And we're the people that enable the artist to get on stage and present themselves well in that sense of it, and make sure that there's we're also the people that make sure that the audience is there and that we're running a safe venue and a good venue. And there's a huge amount of roles, there's a huge amount of jobs involved in that. We're not the singers, we're not the dancers, we're not the band, we're not the performers, but we're the people that we hope enable the performers to do well in front of their fans. And that takes an awful lot of work, and that's why we constantly need people, and we need good people.
I think that's a really good point that you make, and it really speaks the same language that we speak as a foundation, in that the music industry is youth culture, like embedded in that. Same with football, my background, and that's what we want to tap into. A lot of the kids want to be part of those industries, and there's such a power behind that. but it's also opening the young people's minds up into that and making them understand there's so many different layers to those industries where you could embed yourself. We can't all be the singer, we can't all be Adele. Do you know what I mean? We can't all be Bieber, or whoever it is. You can't be Jude Bellingham. Do you know what I mean? So they're like the 0.01%, these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost unattainable for most people to, if anybody, to get there. So there's so many other jobs there, and this is why the partnership, I think, is a marriage made in heaven, really, because we're speaking the same language and we're able to impact a whole youth kind of sector because the interest is there, but we just have to open their eyes to it.
Yeah.
And to bring them in. And with our ability to bring young people here to us, we need the next part to be able to open them up to that and expose them to the different areas that are there. And that's why I think this hopefully will be a long-lasting relationship, because it can be so impactful.
I guess that's why it's so important for the foundation to team up with massive corporations and businesses like your own, because that is the avenue in. Otherwise, how else do you help young people be able to continue their journey? Yeah,
well, we bring the education part at the beginning. That's the first and foremost. That's the part we do. We re-engage the young people that are from these deprived backgrounds who have kind of fallen out of interest and love with education, which is going to give them the opportunity to go and get a job. And the key word is opportunity.
Yeah.
We need these guys to come with us to create the opportunity. We create the first part, but we haven't got the second part. And we need businesses like this, big businesses, but also businesses that are in touch with actually wanting to impact young people as well. So we have to be like-minded. And these relationships don't work if we're not like-minded. And thankfully, that's why we're around this table.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, a lot of really big companies, particularly, accountants, lawyers, et cetera, but a lot of big companies have graduate programs. We don't have a graduate program. We don't see a degree as a necessity to A, to start, and B, to grow. It does become a barrier. And in fairness, if you're an accountant, perhaps you need to have gone through the graduate program. But I've got a number of accountants now that actually started as effectively bookkeepers, but actually realised once they were doing it that actually they could do it, and then we've sponsored them to get all of their qualifications, and they're fully qualified now in that sense of it. But they started with nothing in terms of qualifications other than essentially the willingness to work hard and a little bit of initiative. And if you have that, certainly my experience of the music industry in particular is that they'll accept you. The music industry will accept you. It won't look at what your qualifications are. It won't look at what your degree is, whether it's a first or a second. It won't even look whether you've got a degree.
I think it's important, that's why it's good to have these conversations, because a lot of young people assume that I have to have a certain type of qualification or I'm going to be dismissed. And reality is not like that. As then if you've got to find a way to get in the door, and that's us.
Yeah.
And then our partnerships will give you the opportunity. Then it's about you. Then it's about how well are you prepared? How much drive and determination have you got? How much consistency have you got with your habits and good standards? And can you then tap into that industry that you're looking to get into? It's just like, but we have to prepare these young people, because not everyone's got good people around them to prepare them.
Definitely. I think one of my favourite quotes is growth happens on the border of support and challenge. And it's one of my favourite sayings ever, because I've really lived by that my whole life. Where does your passion come from, personally, that means that you consistently invest in human beings? What do you get out of it?
I suppose my passion is putting on events. I mean, in simple terms, my passion is putting on events. And I suppose from a staff point of view, from my team's point of view, my core passion with my team is that should they ever decide to leave, and I hope my team don't ever leave in that sense, and actually some of them never do, fortunately, but if they do, I just hope that they've grown while they've been with me in that sense, and if they haven't, I've failed. That's a really simple mantra for me. If they haven't grown while they've been working for me, and I think that goes for the whole of Live Nation, for the whole of Festival Republic in that sense. We want people to grow because their growth will enable more events, in our view. Their growth will enable safer events. Their growth will enable more interesting events and more accessible events, etc. As they get better, our events get better. And in simple terms, we just want people to grow because they will end up making us better.
Yeah, and that's so important. I feel like that's so relevant to the foundation as well, because you invest so much in the growth of these young people. Where does that come from for you? Why do you do it?
Because I've always, the key word again, opportunity. I always feel that opportunity gives you a chance to put your best foot forward. And I think, as I said, not everybody's afforded a stable family, a stable home life, good supporting friend network, etc. Not everyone has that. I was fortunate to have a good stable home up until a certain point where my dad split up, but they were around. Not everyone has that. So, and I know there's a lot of kids that don't have that. So for me to be in a position where I can have the leverage of what I've done in my career to support young people to do that, it was a no-brainer for me. My mum was a community person with zero resources, but was still a community-driven person.
Yeah.
State. And I'm just a kind of product of that. I've seen that. I've seen how she was around people, the impact that she can have by doing little pieces, little and often. And I've got a chance to do that with the resources that I have to make a bigger impact and a bigger imprint on that. So it was, as I said, it's what I've seen, and I've just followed suit really. And I've just been, as I said, lucky that I've got a really good team. Gary, who heads it, but all the people that work around him as well and underneath, and the young people that come in and give their effort and their time, their consistency to the projects are what make this all happen and work.
I think collaboration is also just so important because you've just been able to bring both of your passions together in the middle here and provide so much opportunity, which is the key word really for young people. Why the music industry? I know you mentioned culture before, but what is so important about you tapping into this particular side of the music industry?
I think it goes back to what I said before. I think most kids, like, I was like this when I was a kid. I want to be a singer. I want to be Michael Jackson when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I weren't a footballer, well, now I want to be a footballer. I want to be Gaza, John Barnes, whoever it was. And they're two of the biggest industries in entertainment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sport and entertainment. They're two of the biggest ones and there's so many jobs around them. So all my kids, mates I grew up with, all loved football and would all, if they could, have a job in football, in the football industry. They just didn't know where or how. And hopefully we're filling that void now. As I said, when we're talking about going into, and fashion's one of them, we've got a partnership with a big fashion company. The amount of kids that want to get on that, because fashion's such a huge, but Instagram is basically around fashion, most of it. Do you know what I mean? It's about what people look like and wear. Do you know what I mean? So we're trying to tap into the real kind of where there's a high volume of young people that want to have a chance, an opportunity to get through the doors of those big companies.
I also feel like there's so much gatekeeping generally in the music industry that actually having a collaboration like this is important because it really takes down essentially the barriers to entry. And the barriers to entry are already very high in a lot of these industries. So actually giving people the opportunity to be able to step sideways with ease after they've had the education with you is so nice to be able to have then the internship opportunity with you.
I think actually in some respects it's not just the barriers to entry. I think it's the awareness of the fact that there is an opportunity.
Exactly.
And I think
which
as Rio said, he's talking about opportunity.
There isn't opportunities for young people to step into music, especially underprivileged young people that come from backgrounds that, you know, not necessarily everybody does come from, and you don't really understand it unless you've been there.
I understand what he's trying to say. I think you're trying to say is that these jobs are there, but some of these big companies have not known how to amplify that and the opportunity that is there waiting to be had.
Do you think they care though? I feel like you care.
Well, there's no question that I care. There's no question that, you know, we as Festival Republic and Live Nation do care. We've been, you know, running internships for people without graduate degrees for a long time. This is something that we believed in. And, you know, I didn't go to university myself. A lot of the music industry didn't necessarily go to the university. So, you know, it is something that I believe, you know, I was able to benefit from essentially hard work and initiative. And so, yes, we do care. And I don't know. I think amplifying the message is, is really important. As you said, it's something that, and this is something that will allow us to do that, is to amplify the fact that there is opportunity. Coming through a foundation doesn't guarantee success. The only thing that will guarantee success is that individual's willingness to work hard and show that initiative and do it, but it certainly gives that opportunity.
100%. What do your internships look like?
I guess they vary, but the internships that we generally offer, and they are flexible in that sense of it, but the internships that we generally offer gives every person the opportunity to spend a month, 6 weeks in the accounts department, a month, 6 weeks in the advertising department or the marketing department or the health and safety team or the event producing team or the technical team or the site infrastructure team. And they sort of find what they're comfortable with. And some say, actually, I really like accounts. I might not have been great at writing my name or writing a story or writing an essay, but I could always count. And that puts them, oh yeah, okay, I'll stay in accounts actually. It means that I sit in an office and I'm working away and I'm authorizing the payment to some money to whoever, some famous artist that's just played at Wireless, for instance. Or
that's a massive buzz, though. Imagine coming off an estate, and you're in an office and you're seeing money. You're physically seeing the money being wired from a concert you just saw early online, and it's now going to that artist. Imagine that is a mad buzz.
That is mad, and also just understanding how things work. I'm such a curious person. I feel like I want to have an internship right now because I want to be.
We can make it happen.
I want to be in the accounts department. I want to see how much money gets wired, but also just the attention to detail. It's learning the attention to detail on things and learning how to change the way you think through learning on the job. I think that's so important.
But that's why I was sorry that Melvin. That was what was so good years ago about like YTSs.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. I'd done a YTS as a kid, so you'd go youth training scheme, go into football. That was your first 2 years, £39 a week, £29 a week, whatever it was. But you're learning on the job. Like it's such a huge advantage for a young person. I'd advise any young person to take that the training early like that, and these opportunities.
£39 wasn't bad actually.
It was right.
It was pretty.
Especially you need to jump the travel.
I'm a little. I'm a little older. It was £4.50.
Oh, was
me,
it?
Actually.
Okay.
Wow. Well,
and I was moaning.
Maybe we don't cover that part of the conversation. It's super exciting to just hear how passionate you both are, and also just getting under the skin, just personally as well, of why this is so important to you. What do you both? I know we've spoken about what the young people will get out of this. What do you want to see happen through this initiative, through this collaboration?
Well, me personally, and speaking from the foundation's perspective, is the likes of Melvin to be able to influence other business leaders into saying, oh, actually, we put our hand up to do this, and actually we've seen a genuine success of this, and we've seen young people grow, become more confident. Actually, they become part of our workforce. And to hear someone like Melvin say that, the experience and the size of the company and some of the stuff that they do, to be able to talk to other likewise business leaders really gives them the confidence. And then when we have that conversation, it's not a difficult one. Because I think we've been doing this over 10 years now, and each year it gets easier to have the conversations, and we're in a really good place now where we're having to say no to some companies because we can't facilitate some of the workload. So we're in a much better space, but we need more Melvins, because it's essential that these big companies still tap into the young people of this generation.
Yeah, definitely, and stay connected and keep providing those opportunities. And also holding people accountable for their level of social responsibility is super important, because if you aren't doing it, who else is?
And that is true. I mean, we're in the limelight all the time as a company. We're obviously presenting major concerts, major festivals, and we have to be able to put our hand up, as Rio said, and say, we're trying to do the right thing by every aspect of society, not just the most educated aspect, not just the most privileged aspect. We have to be doing the right thing by every aspect of society, and our customers, fairly simply, are every aspect of society.
Yeah.
If our workforce doesn't represent that, we're failing. It's really simple.
I'm going to get that tattooed. If our workforce isn't representing that, we're failing.
True.
It's
But
so
it
true.
is difficult. I think, like, you look at some of the young people. I think it's like, I do think, to go back to that point of just making sure the awareness is there for young people to be able to go, oh, I can go there. Oh, they do want us, people like us there from our backgrounds. The more, and I think it comes down maybe cultural in the UK and England. We're not ones to shout about the good work we do loudly enough.
Yeah, it's very humble.
And that, I think that needs to change to be able to help raise the awareness as well.
How are you going to change that? Because this cannot be humble.
I think we've got to do a vlog with you going in and doing a YTS scheme.
Listen, I am the wrong person
Ellie doesn't
to
know
say.
what a YTS scheme is.
I'll learn on the job.
A youth training program.
I am the wrong person to say that to, because we're taking these mics and we're getting on the road now.
But yeah,
Can we get a cab outside now, quick?
I think you need to go. I think you need to go in there. But I think, again, just coming up with, I think we're in a world of content today. I think the more we do around these types of things, we're talking about it with the foundation as well, about creating more content that is going to be more accessible for people to see, more masses of people can see that actually this actually does happen. It's actually true, because it's like when you're a kid, the more you're told, the more you go, no, I'm not doing it, or that's not even getting in. But if you see and you're shown, I think it's much more impactful. So content is definitely key.
I think the content is a great idea, and yes, I will do that.
All right.
So get ready, all right? Live Nation, Festival Republic, I'm coming. I would love to know, where do we go from here? So we're obviously establishing this collaboration. We're announcing it. What are the next steps?
Well, we have an event in Crystal Palace coming up, I think. There's an event in Crystal Palace in 23rd of October, I think I was told, Gary. I think that was correct, 23rd of October. At Selhurst Park. Scene of some very famous activities that I've been at, but anyway. That I guess is the first public activity around it, in that sense of it, really.
Can you tell us what we can expect from it?
I think it's, in fairness, I haven't been fully briefed on it, but I think it's an opportunity to talk to people that, for young people to come along and say, where are the opportunities? How can I apply? How can I put my hand up to say that I'm interested in the foundation, interested in an internship, interested in the education that the foundation do, and the potential of therefore getting an internship within the sort of Live Nation and Festival Republic structure.
Amazing. So on that day, how are we getting these glorious young people to Selhurst Park? Is it just all going through the foundation?
Yeah, we're mainly going through the foundation. I think it's an opportunity for the foundation as well to really, like we spoke about before, is really highlighting all the positives that can come from this, the simplicity with which you can sign up. Obviously, there's a certain amount of people that we can take on initially, because you've got to try and test these things first and make sure that everything is working right, and then we get to a point where hopefully the relationship grows and we expand that. But I think it's just about really just making these young people understand what is on the tin, what you can achieve here, what you can aim at here. This isn't, as I said, I always I never wanted to be pigeonholed as a kid. I found that really kind of claustrophobic. I didn't like that feeling. And I think why I work with companies like this is that they have such a wide kind of breadth of different opportunities where they can get into the ecosystem and be able to move about. They need to understand that, and that's the job of the foundation, to do that for all the companies we work with.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, because even, before I got into the music industry, I had no idea of the level and the breadth of jobs there were and roles there were in the music industry. So there is a role for everybody.
Phenomenal. It's
amazing.
Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's literally from lighting designers to riggers to forklift designers to talent buyers to advertising, marketing teams. It is there's no limit in that sense.
And you know
It's
what?
like, sorry, it's like a young. If I was a kid now, all I'll be saying is like, where is there? I'll be going to there's loads of different industries if I could find them, or looking online now. Where is there a lack of people for particular jobs? That's where I'm going. Do you know what I mean? And you can find that quite quickly. Do you know what I mean? And then try and work your way in. But like you mentioned the word there, you have to be curious. You have to be inquisitive. You've got to go and search out stuff. And that's the kind of stuff we talk to our young people about a lot, is that things aren't going to come to you and be landing on your plate. You've got to go out and you've got to work, like you say, work hard. You've got to be inquisitive, curious, look for stuff, look for the opportunity, then go.
And also, once you find these opportunities, you have the knowledge which both of you are providing with this collaboration, it gives young people a sense of belonging. You know, they feel like they belong somewhere.
Part of a team.
Part of a team. And that is so important, because I was saying earlier, you know, we can't achieve great things on our own. So being a part of a team, with you two bringing that opportunity together, is invaluable for young people. How do young people sign up for this?
Online. Go to the website, go to the Instagram page, the Rio Ferdinand Foundation. All the details are on there. Get yourself involved. Don't wait. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? What are they waiting for?
Opportunity. They're waiting for that realization that it is in fact there.
Exactly. And it is. And I'm so grateful for both of you bringing your minds together, bringing your professional, you know, background together, and also your companies, because it's so important.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
much.
Yeah, thank you.